Hello everyone, happy Saturday. Today we're doing our first podcast on this channel. Are you ready? Well, we're about to begin right about here. Let's check. Oh, hold on. The Haani Moon Podcast will feature conversation with people who have accomplished notable feats. This month, we'll have conversation with OSU's artist, Daru. Please give him a warm welcome, everyone. Hold on. Doesn't he look a little too short? Shouldn't he be raised up in his chair, propped up? Well, let me ask you guys a quick question here. How many of you guys have played OSU? Be honest. Be honest about it. I only played less than a day's worth of OSU. I respect the gaming community revolving around OSU, but I personally can't keep up with the hand-eye coordination required to keep up with the music. Also, does anything look different today? I guess the set here looks a little bit different, doesn't it, huh? We're no longer in my bedroom, guys. We're gonna be in a proper studio filled with scenery and background, and even mics to help support our environment that we're going for here. So, let me give you guys a warm welcome to hello, Scallion, thank you for being first. Hello, Karma Frappe, and hello, Rosen. Alright, that's everybody here. We can just jump right into the interview here. And let's get some sound check here with Gabe. Hello, Gabe, are you there?
Hello.
Gabe, you look a little short in your chair. Why don't you stand up just a little bit for us, huh?
Yeah, okay, let me just sit up a little bit. There we go.
Alright. Hey, what is this?
Oh no.
Are we allowed to show this on YouTube even?
No. I was just a bunny head, and then I found the gym, found protein.
Okay, I'm gonna turn on this music right there. I can't take credit for that entrance, right? You were 100% the one behind that sort of entrance that you wanted to put for yourself for first impression. Like,
yeah, it's important to make a strong first impression, you know. So yeah.
are you a little colder? Don't you need a t-shirt or something?
No, it's fine. I'm covered up enough.
Well, just in case, we do have some censors. Just in case, you know, YouTube might track this video down and find out there's nudity to a certain degree. So just for everyone's safety as well, we have them. What do they call them? Stickies or something?
For everybody's safety. Are they dangerous?
Are they dangerous? Who knows? I don't want to get any strikes, so just in case here. All right, so let's start introductions for the both of us. Let me go first.
Hello, I'm I'm Daru. These days I go by Buntime, and I am one of the artists who's contributed official art to OS. And yeah, hello, I'm an artist, and I guess my day job is I'm an engineer. So. Oh,
pachi. And you guys know me. I am the VTuber of this channel, JueriHaan. Now, the way we met was kind of crazy, right? I played OSU before, so I am aware of Pippi, the OSU mascot. Let me show you guys what she looks like on screen here. But do you want to explain how we met?
I mean, we basically, well, we met on a art forum, basically, well, art Discord. We met on Anime Sketch, and basically just through various, you know, conversations and talking and doing art together and stuff, we became friends. So yay! I
think we met, when was it? Like 2018 2015, I want to say.
A long time ago.
I remember it was like my first year of college, and that's when I talked to you. But I didn't know you were an OSU artist until much later. To my surprise, and pretty much everyone's surprise back then.
I do, yeah, because every now and then somebody would kind of just go into chat and like mention like, hey, like something about us, and I'd be just like, oh yeah, I drew the combo burst sprite for that. So
to me, it's a little bit crazy because when I was just an artist, I was like back in the day, I was really recluse. Like I had an Instagram account, I had a Twitter account, but it wasn't until much later I decided to hop into a public art space. And through that public art space that we shared, which is the server Anime Sketch Again, I met some incredible artists that are doing notable things, and I feel like you deserve that spot in there.
No, I appreciate it, but I wouldn't. I wouldn't say that I'm all that notable compared to some of the people in that server. There's some really cool people there.
You're being humble right now. You gotta take the compliment where it's due.
Thank you.
Okay, so this is the mascot, Pippi. She is stylized with the lowercase letter P. That's taken from her wiki. Now, out of curiosity, how did you even get this sort of opportunity? You know, I could have been, I was like 16 or something around this time probably, and I could have probably entered my own sort of design for this game.
Yeah, I was also pretty young when I was in college, and then I continued doing some stuff after college. But the basically I was in the community pretty early. OS was, I think, released in 2006 or 2007.
Ooh, I know the internet.
Yeah, it's been around quite a while, but I joined maybe a year or two into when it was released, and I started doing fan art on the forums and stuff like that. Ooh. And yeah, basically I got noticed and was eventually commissioned to do some official art, which is kind of how I ended up making the sprite. And I guess at the time I didn't realize how, I guess, well, I of course knew that the game was popular at the time, but not quite as big as it is currently. And I guess I would have I didn't quite understand how many people would end up seeing this particular piece of art, I guess.
Out of curiosity, just to make sure, did you design the character or did you only do the art for her?
No, so I designed the outfit in that art in the combo burst, but the original design for Pippi was made. I think their name was Sarumaru. It's on the wiki. It's on the OS wiki. Yeah.
Oh, I see. And how old?
Quite a while ago. I'm pretty sure I did the combo burst in 2011, 2012 maybe.
Are you sure? Because right here it says 2008. I do have my facts pulled up just in case for this. I just wanted to check.
It's been a while.
2008 was a very interesting time. I was still in like elementary school, going through my Google Gaga days.
Oh my gosh.
From the official wiki, it says here, Pippi, stylized with lowercase p, is the OSU game model mascot that joined on 2008 to 2007. For some reason, you guys kind of did the inverse of the dates, but can't say anything about it. She's also known as Pippidon in Osutaku. The initial concept art was created by Sarumaru, the Pippidon sprite was done by Crystal Suicune, and the current art is designed by Daru. There you have it. Are you still in contact with either Sarumaru or Crystal Suicune or even the dev?
So I never actually met them.
Okay.
The other artists, yeah. I haven't talked to anybody on the team recently, but it's they're the kind of people that if I wanted to reach out, I could say hi.
Oh, have you reached them? You have not, right? So you.
No, I've got a lot of stuff going on.
That is fair. That is fair.
Yeah.
Looking at design, how do you feel about it now that you are a little bit more experienced? Because it seems art. This is pretty good for the age you're at, right?
Oh my gosh! I mean, I guess it's the classic artist's dilemma, artist's emotion about looking at past art. At the time, I was definitely very satisfied with the way it came out, and I felt that I put my best foot forward. But now looking back, I'm like, oh, I would do so many things different. I have learned a lot about art since I made this, and if I were to redraw it, it would look very different.
I think one of the more notable things how big her eyes are. It's definitely a sort of a product of its time. You know, back when everyone did the huge anime manga eyes going for it.
Oh my gosh! Back in the day, I was so into like key shows like Clanad and
no.
Yeah,
that's where it all came from, Clanad.
Oh yeah.
Were you were you paid for this project? Are you allowed to say like how much you were paid for? Or is there like a NDA clause or something I should be aware about?
No, there's no NDA, but it's not. I don't remember how much I was paid, but it was fair for the time. I mean, I charged basically by however many hours it took, and I put quite a few hours into it. I was very inexperienced in terms of like how much to charge for my art. So it was probably one of the first like paid commissions that I've done. But yeah, no, it was probably a couple $100 for it. I don't remember how much, but it was probably something like that.
No, get that bag. That's a lot for a college student back then, even.
Oh my gosh, yeah, it felt like a ton back in the day.
No, I'm sure it does. Because when I did my first commission, it was like $5 for a skin. I definitely undersold myself, you know. I didn't understand like how to price myself. I always thought about, it's just a digital file, you know. It should be cheap to sell to the person, but you seem like you have some notion of how much you were being offered. Was this an offer that was it P? Is that what we're called? Dev?
I work for Pippi. Yeah, the dev. Or I'm sorry, not Pippi. Peppy, the dev.
Pippi, I see.
I mean, yeah, like I said, I was super satisfied with the situation at the time, because again, it was one of my first jobs out of college, or not out of college, rather. It was one of my first jobs while I was that I got paid for artistically, and it was like something that I felt that I could put my best foot forward and do it like that. It's just if I could do it again with the experience I currently have, I mean, obviously I'm more experienced now, so I would just ask for higher just because. But
that's fair.
I'm also much faster now.
Ooh, that's what we love to hear.
So I charged, not that I charged, but like I priced myself by the hour, based on like how long I thought it would take to make a drawing, and I would always estimate like, okay, it'll take me a week to do this drawing after school. I would put like a couple hours every day. Like maybe I'll estimate like 40 hours or like 20 hours for a drawing. Nowadays, like I could probably redo this in like 2 hours, 3 hours. So, yeah, I should say like I would be able to do this level of fit and finish in maybe 2 or 3 hours.
So from my understanding from the previous story, you mentioned how you met Pippi, the dev. You're basically randomly selected by the dev to do art for her, right?
I would say randomly selected. It was like because I don't know how it is now. I haven't played in a long time.
I was just curious if you were on personal level with Pippi.
Like I like chatted with him. It was a lot of like, I can't even remember what it was at the time. I think it was like IRC or something like that. But it'd be like DMs and stuff that we could, we would chat as friends, not necessarily just as like employer/employee.
True. Right? I'm sure it didn't feel like a sort of work environment place at all. It's just like a pretty casual exchange.
Yeah, and it was one of those things too where it's much, like I said, right? It's much smaller than it is now.
Smaller.
And you can definitely see that. I mean, even in like the skill levels, right? Like if you if you look at the kinds of scores that people were getting back in 2008, 2009, it is much less impressive than the kinds of things that people can do today.
Honestly,
right?
the game back then, right? It's a very simple game. You just basically hit dots into rhythmic pattern to music, right? But
Like
I played it back then too. The community was pretty decently sized, but I feel like nowadays it's sort of flourished into its own community. On the subreddit, it's still pretty small, but everyone knows OSU by its name, right? It's I would say pretty on par with some of the bigger titles online. I just think it's crazy impressive that I managed to snag you in a random Discord server just to talk about the game. Because I personally play the game. It's rare for me to meet people who are part of projects to explain some of these things to me.
I mean, I don't know. Like, I appreciate it. Thank you. But it's I really don't feel as, I guess, as big as some people might think. Like, oh, the artist who drew for this huge video game might feel, right? Oh, for what it's worth, I did have it on my resume.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I did have it on my resume because I had freelance artist on my resume for a while because I was out of college, right? So
yeah, fair.
I had like freelance artist, and in one of my notes was like, I flexed on how large this was. I was just like, yeah, I did art for a game that has 5.6 million users or whatever, like whatever it was at the time. So, but it was definitely me like puffing up and being like ho ho ho, right? I definitely didn't feel like I did something all that like you know what I mean, right?
Did it actually land in you any of the jobs that you were applying for, or is it just kind of like, hey, here's a nice to know, here's like a awards section, something I'm known for kind of thing?
Yeah, it was kind of like it was kind of like me demonstrating that I used it as a talking point to be like, oh yeah, I can manage myself because I did freelance art, not specifically that I did for a large game, right?
That's true. Because when I'm applying to places, I really curtail my resume. I don't mention anything about art, or do I mention anything about like the whole streaming gig? That's like a whole separate thing that we can talk about during the interview, but not on my resume on first impression. So I'm very surprised you added that to your impression.
It was like, yeah, I mean, it was back in the day when I just didn't have anything else to put, right? So like it was applying to my first job.
So was it like a mainly art job? Yeah. Mainly an art job, or was it like just pure tech? Because you mentioned you're tech now, so was it always tech in the beginning, or is it sort of like a transition from art to tech?
Yeah, I graduated in mechanical engineering.
Okay.
So I went into engineering right from the outset. So the art stuff that was on my resume was mostly to talk about my soft skills more than how it would directly apply to the right. Sense. And then like interviewers liked that I was technical but also artistic. That was like a selling point. Although they were definitely hiring me for the technical stuff.
I'm sure they are. Just quick small interruption, but I just want to give a welcome to Ayuk and also Jade. Hello. We're gonna show the art process on stream. If you want to talk about any parts of the whole thing, you're feel free to put your input in there. Right here, let's go. Now how'd you decide to sketch? Did you just like, did they give you sort of a, hey, we want this sort of character in this pose, or did you decide what do you want out of it?
It was, yeah, I got free reign in terms of like, oh, we want a combo burst, right? So I was kind of just using my sensibilities at the time. I mentioned it before, looking back on like old art stuff as an artist is like, oh.
I swear guys, like Gabe is so much better at the art that he does right now than he did back then. Honestly, your rendering is very strong, but I feel like in recent works that you've been doing, you display really good sense of like anatomy and stylization. The Pippi's, even I think we have to admit, address like the elephant in the room. She have seen her days in that art style, but you definitely have a very different direction with your current art than what we see here.
I recently looked at some of my other older art, and it's definitely you know, like when you're learning art, there's a lot of like, oh, there's a lot of frustration about feeling like you're not improving as fast as you want to, but then you can do something like look back like 5 years or 7 years or something like that and be like, oh, I was a different person back then.
It's okay, it's okay.
You know what I mean? Well, like it's like you're very easily able to see mistakes that you made that you weren't at all able to see back then, and I'm sure I'm gonna have the same reaction to my current stuff like 5-7 years from now. So
honestly, I was really worried about approaching you about this sort of podcast about the OSU mascot, because we're gonna turn it into like a roast session for your art. I wasn't sure where the line was for this sort of thing, because you know it's like it's old art, but it's like.
You can roast my current art even. I'm fine with that. Yeah, no, you're
I can't even roast your current art because they're pretty good as is. Oh my god.
I should say you would be able to roast my current art if I had any, because all I do now, I'm working on fundamentals now, so all I do is sketches.
That's okay. That's okay. Everyone has like a place with fundamentals, like going back to visit some of it and. You know, just go through it again. I need to do it too. I just haven't been drawing because of just the whole project of being a VTuber. It entails like more time of my day for it. Okay, so I just have to ask, did you know that this character is in Yandere Simulator?
Yeah.
Did you know about it? I had no idea until I went to do some research about it. I was like, wait a minute, really? Because I don't follow Yandere Simulator to the latest news. I just know like the general gameplay, and I know that the creator is like questionable at best.
We had nothing to do with that. It was a fan work.
Oh really?
It was a cameo. Yeah, we had nothing to do with, or I mean, to my knowledge, I'm pretty sure it was just that the devs liked us and was like, oh, let's, because there's a lot of other cameos in the game, right?
I don't know, because I when I checked out the wiki for let's see Yandere Simulator version of Pippi here. I have it on the screen. Well, she's actually the first character to have two-tone hair in the game, and it says on the wiki that it was actually agreed upon by Pippi, the dev.
Oh, was it? Okay.
I don't know how true like these fan wikis are, but that's apparently what was said and written on there.
It wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me if they basically were just like, "Hey, can I put your character in this game?" And then Peppy was like, "Yeah, sure." That wouldn't surprise me, but at the same time, like, I guess I wasn't involved, right? So
no, that's true. We have also what her quest looks like in the game too. Pippi Yosu wants to know if her console is effective. Play her disc on your game console home. Beat the first boss and tell her what happens next. Will you accept this task? I'm just gonna read a bit about her personality here, just give context to what she's like in the game. But it says here that among the personas that are currently in the game, Pippi is a phone addict. She will strike a cute pose for a picture if Ayano aims her phone at her. If she sees a corpse or witnesses Ayano commit murder, she'll snap a picture with her phone and will text it to police. While doing so, she will run out of school. Honestly, it's crazy to think that the dev of OSU is giving Yandere Simulator devs free reign over it. I think just reading that description, I was like, whoa, that's pretty wild.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, like I said, I don't know. I wasn't really involved in this part of it. I knew that it existed, and I know that it was like memed on a little bit. But this is, I do also remember, this is before Yandere dev got into hot water with a lot of the stuff.
Oh, okay, that starts making sense a little bit more. Because I personally wouldn't, if I had a character, I would not be in that game of all games, you know?
Yeah, I mean, like, right, people were upset about Yandere. I haven't played it. I don't really know. All I know is just some of the history about it. But I do know that people were upset about it because of the promises that were made, that they were excited for the game that were broken.
Yeah, that's true.
So, like, if this was from when the game was, like, new and exciting and fresh, and there was, exciting promises being made, it makes a lot of sense to me.
We do have a Daru fan in the chat.
Hi.
Even though the title mentions Daru as that name, he also would like to be referred to as Gabe. I just wanted to let you guys know, just in case I switch between the two. I don't want to mix up anyone.
Oh yeah, I'm Gabe. Hello. Yep.
We also have
Bun. Yep.
Ichika. Hello. We're starting to get more people in here. Welcome, Anna. Okay, we'll take a little bit of a break from the interview and check in on chat here. I will mention I will not play Yandere Simulator. I don't think. I just don't know. I want to associate my branding image with that game until they clean up the whole mess they're in right now. It's an ongoing mess, honestly.
It's a branding problem.
It is a branding problem. Oh, actually, you know some Japanese, don't you? We do have someone here messaging from Japan. If you would like to say anything in Japan. In Japanese, I mean.
I know a little bit of Japanese. おはようございます。僕はまあ日本語少しだけわかるけど、まあ大学生の時にね、3年間ぐらい日本語を勉強しましたからちょっとだけわかります。でもまあ全部忘れたから。
You lean into your bun image rather than your muscular image for your Japanese, you know that?
My bun image.
Yeah.
Is this my bun personality? My bunality. Okay.
Actually, Anna here says that on Twitch you can't even play Yandere Simulator. Actually, I didn't know that.
Really?
I know that Twitch has a list of games that are kind of banned, but for the most part, I know the games that are banned are generally, rated R kinda. So maybe it's the blood in Yandere Sim, but even though I say that, there are games that are bloodier than Yandere Sim that are allowed to be streamed. Hey Frosted Times, hello. I will keep up the work. Can't be calling me dirt on here though. No matter how true it is.
Yeah.
Have you played the game yourself? Because I have not played, but I've seen gameplay. I watched like Markiplier back in the day, you know, for when he played the game.
Yeah, I've not. I mean, I think I did also watch Markiplier.
Yeah, right. Vicarious.
I watched some famous users play it. Yeah.
It's not the blood that's the problem. Oh, maybe there's some things that I don't know about the game. I just my knowledge of the game stops on like year 1 of development, and that's it. Everything like drama related and all that jazz that happened way ahead. I was just not. I was already out of the fandom. Memes?
I know the Yandere Sim memes, but like it's like the Yandere dev memes, I guess.
I had a cousin that really loves playing that game back in the day. It was not for me because I was so enamored with League back in there. Oh, I'm telling you, there is a crazy rabbit hole. Damn, it sounds like a 5-hour video essay for me to dive into. Maybe I'll watch it.
There's gotta be somebody who's done a video essay about this.
I'm sure they have. I don't want to go too sidetrack. Oh, sorry, group watch? You want to group watch it?
No. We're gonna have to. Let's brainstorm this. Or something.
We will have to. I'll visit you back on this. Now, back to on topic. Back on topic with OSU.
Yes.
Sorry, I'm like stumbling because it's hot here. It's like I gotta close the window because it rained, but there's like 90 degrees, 95 even. Anyways, my bad. So have you played like a good amount of OSU? Like a lot of OSU, or is it like just a little bit here and there? You're mostly into the art side or the music side or something?
I got quote unquote good at it when there wasn't much competition. Like in 2007, like 2008 to like 2011 or so, I played a lot of it because I really like rhythm games, or I still really like rhythm games, right?
I have your profile on screen just so people see. I gotta brag a little bit on your behalf here.
back in the day, no, you have to understand, the game was not as big as it is now. So this is
that is so interesting. Your accuracy score is lower than the 4th place person, but you have a higher score nonetheless.
Yeah, I think it's because I got a full combo on more stuff than they did.
You don't even have like an SS? They have like 7 SS though.
It was like, because the score system is combo based, so the higher combo you get, the more score you get. And this was also the scoring system was different back in the day, right? I'm pretty sure it was like I don't know how it is now, but I know that it's like the performance points or the peppy points or the pippi. But it's where there's like difficulty where difficulty is based on it's based on difficulty. But so this is the monthly ranking. There was like a group of like 10 maps or 11 or something like that. There was a group of certain number of maps, and you basically had to get the highest score on each one of those, and then it was like a spotlight on those maps basically. And I was able to rank #1 in the November one. Yeah. At the time I was like top 100, I think.
Ooh. Did you mention top 50? We did some preliminary like screening question, and I was like, oh, what rank were you? And he said top 50. But here on stream he's a little bit more humble.
No. Okay, so like when this happened, when I hit #1, I was probably around top 100. But my peak rank, I think, was top 50. It was this would have been 2008. The ranking system was different. There was a whole lot of different things, but I was in the kind of upper tier of the people in the game at that time.
Interestingly, so I tried looking around. I couldn't find like the scoreboard or anything, but I did find like your OSU profile picture and everything here. I don't know if you can see it, but it says here that your total playtime amounts to 18 days. 18 days, 10 hours. Is that considered like the higher end of OSU players, or is that like a casual? Like, I don't know. 18 days seem like a lot.
I have no idea.
Let me pull up my like league playtime right now on here. Okay, I must have accumulated at least 100 days worth, but you only played 18 days worth, and you ranked up around top 50, right?
I don't know. I could bring up like my RuneScape playtime probably.
Oh no.
That's some dark history.
That is some dark history, huh? Oh, what are some of your favorites music to play on OSU? Because when I looked through your profile as well, I saw that a lot of your music were kinda
it's weeb. It's weeby.
It's weeb, it's nightcore.
It's very my tastes were very 2009. Fair. It was a lot of anisong and a lot of rhythm game music, really, right? Like if you think about like I don't think stuff like Nanahira and that kind of like, I don't think like that level of rhythm game music had become a thing yet, but it was those kinds of songs that I really liked.
I have to admit something, right? I'm kind of embarrassed to say this, but when I loaded up OSU, you know, they have their standard branded music that they put for just everyone when you boot up the game, but they also let you put in your own music. And this was a dark time in my weeb phase, but my very first custom song was Unravel from Tokyo Ghoul. I had people who know me like way back when I showed my little sketchbook from when I was 16 or something. I had like a Tokyo Ghoul phase where I loved the edginess and like everything it stood for. I never finished it, but I just loved the whole like thing it introduced into the anime fandom, despite it being not very good of an animation.
Oh my gosh! I mean, I just now I was just like, yeah, I liked Clannad and Canon and Air and all those. Okay, Clannad After Story. I haven't watched it recently, but I do remember liking it. Like, I do remember thinking it was my favorite anime for a long time. But I was totally one of those like awkward anime fan nerd high schoolers when I was like back in the day. I would totally like, I'd be one of those kids like sitting in the manga section of Barnes and Noble or whatever and like reading manga and like putting it back because I didn't have any money.
Oh so, no! You know, funny enough, my library in middle school and high school actually had like quote unquote a comic book section, but that was filled with like different manga volumes of various titles. I never really checked them out because a lot of them were like one volume of the entire series. I just hate being left on a cliffhanger, you know?
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Yeah, things are... maybe one day I'll dive more into my dark weeb history, but it's honestly very cringe thinking about it. I'm a little too into it.
You gotta embrace the cringe.
Oh god, do I even reveal even more about it?
Don't what's the quote? It's like don't kill the part of you that's cringe, kill the part of you that cringes. Like, something like that.
No, no. That is very like it deserves an award for how cringe it is. Like I think anything or anyone, especially with Tokyo Ghoul, they like it because of the edginess, and I don't think shows these days really match that edginess. So it's definitely a product of its time again.
Yeah.
Now, interestingly, when I talk to people about OSU's mascot and everything, they thought that you weren't gonna be here. They thought someone else was gonna be here, actually.
I'm sure that there's more. Yeah, I'm sure there's more recent art that has come out since I stopped doing art for them. Anyway, sorry, go ahead.
So yeah, so people actually thought I was gonna invite Tofu Mong. Do you know who Tofu Mong is?
I don't think so.
So every year, I don't know since what year, but every year OSU hosts a contest. I think a summer contest specifically, and each year they vote for a winner. And I feel like in the recent couple of years, there's someone by the name of Tofu. I think he stopped entering in recent years, but he entered into OSU, and you do fan art of, you know, the character you drew that everyone knows you by, right? Mm-hmm. And people thought that he was the one who's gonna be here instead, so I had to clear up some things. I'm sorry, everyone. Maybe next time I'll invite them over.
I'll be sure to. I'll live up to it.
Yeah. Let me show you guys Tofu Mong's art. Maybe you might recognize it. I think that Tofu Mong does a really good job of advertising the game, more so than the game does for itself. Oh wait, my experience with Tofu Mong, so they're actually in Anime Sketch in the same server that we were into, but they would kind of chat here and there, not too active. They're focusing on art. They have really fast improvements just looking at this.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah, so they entered, I think, every year since 2018. I see a couple pieces during 2019 and 2020, but they entered pretty frequently into these contests, and people know him as the OSU art guy, which unfortunately created a miscommunication when I told people, oh yeah, you know, we're gonna have podcasts with the OSU person behind the mascot. Right. Maybe for next time though, next time. So yeah.
We'll leverage our professional network or something.
Oh, you'll be surprised who the next person's gonna be, maybe. Or maybe you might know, who knows. Okay, so let's see. Your current art style, right? Very, very different. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, I mean, you know, everybody evolves, but like, it's the kind of thing that I never felt like I ever had a quote-unquote style. I always felt like I was always finding new things that I liked and like always trying to incorporate it into what I did, and it affected a lot of I should say, like, my willingness to put together something like a portfolio or anything like that, because I didn't feel like I've never really felt like anything was mine, quote unquote, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, to your point, right? Like a lot of the recent stuff is definitely much different in look and feel and competence versus my older stuff. So yeah.
Okay, we'll see a couple here on the screen as well. Give me a second. Look at that! Oh my god, I really love your pencil sketches. Very different style from your past art. What do you think is the biggest influence?
Thank you. It's like, I wouldn't say that I really have a biggest influence. It's just, if I go on Twitter and just see a bunch of like really good artists that I like, it's the kind of thing that I will be like, oh, what if I just take this or that? Like the eyelashes on a lot of the stuff that I had was from like one of the artists that I follow, and I just kind of liked how it looked, so I incorporated it. And then there's just always the how should I say, like the general improvement in understanding forms and understanding how a dynamic sketch, like how a dynamic pose looks, or that kind of thing, right?
I also have to admit that Tokyo Ghoul has a chokehold of my style for the longest time early on. Kind of was like your guilty pleasure. I'm telling you, Tokyo Ghoul, like the original artist Ishida Sui, I love his ghostly pale look, and I kind of think carries over to my current stuff. I try not to though, because he makes it work, but I kind of don't, because not really based on my own life experience and how I am supposed to create that kind of style. And so, what would you say is like? Are you sure there's like no like main artist that you really think of for this new stage of art at all?
Okay, yeah. I mean, putting it in that context,
less planet art though. I noticed that eyes are smaller.
yes, definitely less claddish. The Made in Abyss artist.
Oh, I see. Okay, I can see that.
The Made in Abyss artist. They did a bunch of like short stories before they became known for doing Made in Abyss. And I think it's like Star Thread something. But if you look at some of the pencil sketches that they've done, or some of the line work that they've done, it's these like wonderfully, beautifully like intricate drawings, and then the character designs of like the Narahate in Made in Abyss I really like. I would say that that's probably a pretty big influence.
I see it. Your characters now are a lot more rounded in the shape language, and it's a lot more, I wouldn't say chibi, but it's like stylized in a way that's not like akin to the usual anime style. They're a little shorter, they're a little chubbier. They're cute. You know, the bottom line is that they're cute.
Thank you.
I do have your Twitter linked underneath the description box, so if you guys are curious to see more of his art, you can follow him there. I think we have to address the elephant in the room a little bit. Okay, I think we gotta do that here. I had to scroll a little bit because I wasn't sure how much of your furry art I wanted to show on stream. You know, because
that's fair.
I think there's a certain perception about furry art that not everyone might agree with per se. But well, okay, what do you think about some of your furrier characters, so to speak?
So taking it back to like Made in Abyss, right? Okay, so another artist that I really like is Yagi.
Yagi.
If you've seen Yagi's work, it's just these really cute characters, but it's a lot of the I feel like what a lot of people associate with furry art is like the American or the Western stylized, the Western style furries, which I find like I think the Japanese style ones, the kimono art, is consistently more my speed for it, right? When I was a kid, I really liked like Redwall and like warrior cats and like those kinds of things.
Okay, it gives a little bit more context. I mean Pokemon, but nobody really thinks about Pokemon as furries. I don't know, that's a little bit of a stretch. I think some Pokemon are considered furry though, but one with more humanistic trait, like would like what's it, Lucario be considered furry, or like Gardevoir's almost up there because of
Gardevoir
fan art.
Yeah. Lopunny is the other one. That
one's a little bit, I don't know. If you guys have any perception about furry art or furries in general, please feel free to type in the chat. We can create a small discussion about this. So if you consider yourself furry, do you also embrace the Western side of things, or do you make that stronger distinction between, I'm more of a JP furry artist than like a Western furry artist? Or is it all the same to you?
I think I follow a lot more JP artists than I do Western furry artists, but I appreciate both. Because I'm trying to think of some of the artists that I know that I know my current style comes from. So we might have to come back to that.
That's okay. I feel like, in my experience, right, I don't feel like I have a lot of exposure to furry arts in general. So when I joined like art communities a little bit more during my college years, a lot of perception about furries is very volatile actually. I think it was really rare to get like a very positive outlook. You know, I feel like there's two types of like furries as perceived by the general public. one is they're rich, you know, they got all this money spending it on fetish art, and the other is people who pay a lot of money to dress up and escape. So they're also seen as weird too. Both of them, really. Those were some of the perception I was kind of introduced by, but by themselves, I didn't really have anything against or for it. It's just like, oh, it's animals, you know.
It's one of those things where it's just the internet likes to it's like the designated internet punching bag community. You know what I mean?
Yeah, very unfortunate.
Yeah, it's neither here nor there. It's kind of like I like certain character designs, and that's kind of just what it is, right? Nanachi took all, right? Like, yeah.
Thinking about your current art and then the old art we have of Pippi on screen right now, you probably could have stylized her up with like ears too, cat ears maybe, make it more modern that way.
I have a problem, and it is that every time I draw a character, I automatically put cat ears on them, and it's like the default is Kimono Mimi, and anything else is like I have to actively try for it.
Are you part of any furry communities? Because for me, right, I'm not part of any, but I did explore some with some friends. You know, they have public Discord servers in the search function, and from my experience, right, my friends and I saw this like channel. It's called Patron Supporters, and in that channel, they have a Patreon for this furry Discord server, and the top donors, the top 3 or 4 were like slapping down 5K, 2K, 1K. It was insane. It really definitely plays up to that sort of stereotype about furries being rich, you know.
Suspiciously rich furries. There is a what's it called? Like not stereotype, but there is a general pattern that a lot of people who are furries work in tech and work in like IT and engineering and basically the kinds of jobs you would expect to have pretty high salaries.
Aren't you in tech though?
And yeah, no, I'm an engineer, right? So there you go. But it's I think there's a joke that I remember seeing it on like there was like a plane that was going to a furry convention, and everybody on the plane, or the vast majority of the people on the plane, were in fursuits. So you know, there was like a photo of them all posing with the flight attendants, etc. I just remember one of the comments was like, if this plane went down, it would take out half the U.S. IT infrastructure.
I know you're talking about. I think I've seen that. I've seen that too. We have a comment here from Jesse. They said that engineering school is actually where you go to become a furry.
That's not incorrect.
From my understanding, right, I think people have to make this sort of distinction with furries, right? From people who love their OC versus people who love furry. And the distinction is that people, when they commission OC art, they're like, oh, I love my character, I want to see them in this different stuff. But people who are furries are more like, oh, you know, this furry is my alter ego, this is me, I want to see myself in these different scenarios. That's my understanding of it, right?
Oh yeah, it definitely plays into why people are more willing to commission art for furries than they are for anime OCs, because
honestly, I respect it a lot.
It's like your avatar, right? Like it's like your persona is like who you are, like your identity on the internet. So I would compare it to people commissioning art for like D&D characters and things along that vein. That it's just there's more of a willingness to do it when you identify with it personally versus when it's just like you know, I don't know who's gonna, like I can't imagine commissioning art for just like some anime that I watch, right?
That is true. That is very true. Have you yourself, okay, we gotta dig deeper into the stereotype, right?
Yeah.
Have you yourself dropped a lot of money for a commission?
I don't, but like in the same kind of, in the same way that if you're a mechanic, you don't go to a mechanic shop to get your car looked at, you know, like.
Hey, let's listen. On the flip side, you know, I gotta admit, you know, I myself am an artist. I can probably draw just about anything, but I like to commission people because I like having time on my hand.
I like supporting artists by commissioning them, and I put value more in the interaction, like the full like package of what you get, than the actual product that you get.
Oh,
so
okay. So
the idea that an artist that you really like made something for you is to me more appealing than receiving just a picture, right?
does that mean that you don't really use Skeb to find artists then?
Yeah, I don't really commission too many people. I've commissioned artists that I personally wanted to support, but outside of that, if I needed art for a practical reason, like if I needed art to put on my profile or something like that, I would make it myself because I am artist. Yeah.
I feel a little bit ashamed because I actually had so much help with my whole debut by itself, you know, because I'm not like a graphic designer or anything, so I had people to do my logo, my banner, my overlays and stuff. Even this overlay, this room we're in, you know, was built by someone else. I don't have carpentry expertise on this sort of thing.
Oh, that's totally understandable. I mean, yeah, I totally get that. And it's the same thing for me in conventions, right? Like if when I go to a convention and I'm walking around the artist alley, I I could make for myself a lot of the merch that they have, but I want to support artists, and I really like, and if I see some art that I really like, even though I know that I could probably make something functionally the same for myself, like I will totally, like every convention I spend like hundreds of dollars just walking around the artist alley shopping after paying money. So you pay money to shop basically. So
I know my reasoning is very different. I'm just lazy. Making my own keychain, I'm gonna just buy it. I'm gonna just buy this character. I see that someone else did, that was pretty cool, and then have it for myself, you know. So that's how I don't know, that's just how I am. I've been to so many cons that recent cons for me has been sort of a gallery look or a gift for other people. I rarely buy stuff for myself when I go to cons. The first year I went to was actually in middle school with some of my friends, and my mom and dad went with me too. They're really chill about it, by the way. And you know, that's where I did like a decent amount of purchases. But as the year went by, there's less of a space for me to put my merch anywhere or gift people with, and so I don't actually spend as much maybe as you in that regard.
I mean same, but that doesn't stop me from just buying a bunch of art.
You know, fair. There are people with dedicated like little photo books for their prints and stuff.
Yeah, I have a box where I put all my stickers and pins and stuff. Like I have more pins than I have things to put pins on, for example.
Oh, I see. Now, do you actually table yourself, or are you just a consumer of the artist alley?
I have in the past tabled a lot back in college, and then I graduated and I was doing work, so it like fell by the wayside. And then I started thinking around like 2019, like, oh, I should, you know, I've gotten into the groove of
2018. Wait, 2019, like pandemic years.
Yeah.
Oh,
so basically, so
poor timing.
Yeah. Around like 2018, 2019, I was like, okay, like I've gotten settled and working for a living, and I was like, oh, maybe I should start tabling again. And then like, bam, pandemic.
did they go through it all? Were you able to, like, okay, so a few things, right? I think it's important to note that you don't really have a big following for an artist, right? So did you feel like that affected like your earnings as an artist?
Not at all, actually. Okay, so the first year that I tabled, where was this? This was Anime Next in New Jersey.
Oh, whoa! Yeah. That's my very first con too.
Yo, let's go.
Yo, Anime Next.
This was before they moved to.
Oh my god, I was there. Oh, I probably met you.
Oh my god,
I was in middle school.
So
I probably met you, and we probably crossed paths. Yeah.
Yo, but anyway, yeah. So like, my first con that I tabled up was Anime Next, and I just remember it was like, I had no idea what I was doing. All I did was just like, I don't know, maybe Pokemon sells, so I made a bunch of like Pokemon merch. I made it.
I bought a Pokemon merch from someone at Anime Next, actually. Wait, so actually,
I bought engraved keychain.
So I don't remember the exact name, but I remember this person had a table full of Pokemon was like keychain, not acrylic, but kind of like wood or something, and they were actually priced cheaper because they were damaged by water, quote unquote damaged by water. I saw like a little tiny dot, but it wasn't that big of a deal to me. And so, but that wasn't you, was it?
Probably not me. Mine were all wooden keychains that were engraved.
I could. Oh, okay, engraved. Okay, engraved.
Yeah, it was
so
all engraved, not printed. Yeah, it was the wooden and acrylic keychains that were all engraved because that's all I could do at the time. But so I didn't really have a following. I didn't really have anything to like advertise to people. I kind of just sat there and made sales based on people walking by and liking the stuff that I made. And I made like a couple $1,000s on that weekend having no idea what I was doing. And I was like, okay, maybe it is gonna be like a thing. And then, you know, like real life happened and the pandemic and all that stuff. So, but you know, it's totally like for all the artists out there who are maybe nervous about doing a convention or something like that, it's totally viable to kind of just you get so many sales from people just walking up to your booth and liking your art on the spot and buying it versus like online where people have to like already like you and then go to your Patreon or go to like your Etsy or something. It's much more like a fair at a art. Well, it is basically like a craft fair. But yeah.
You know, Tappy, you know, the one who runs Bikini Garage. Tappy. Yeah. So from my experience, I thought about it, but I'm always like insecure about my art. You know, I don't know what to sell. He had told me that whenever you sell at convention, you're guaranteed to break even or make bank. And so hearing him tell me that makes me feel reassured. And he explained that you get so much foot traffic at a con and people are there to spend money, you know? So you're bound to get a lot of sales from it. And I know that the initial buy-in to these sort of cons are expensive, but then once you do more of them, they basically pay out itself because you already have all the tools and stuff set for you.
Yeah, I mean, so the expenses associated with going to a con are mostly going to be travel and lodging.
A little bit.
Yeah, so if you think about how much you like, you know, if you go to Anime Expo or something, you know, that's like a couple $100s for a flight. Not a couple hundred, you know, that can be like $600 for a flight across the country if you live in like New York. But that alone plus the hotels is like you're already kind of out of pocket $1,000 plus, but you're putting yourself in an environment where people are literally there to spend money. So you're like totally like, yeah, I totally see where Tappy's going with that.
Oh man, I really want to. Maybe in the future. Right now, I just have my hands full as it is.
Yo, collab. Let's go.
Yo,
let's go.
will you let me?
Share a booth.
Can we share a booth?
Yo, let's share a
I'll
booth.
be
let's
like
go.
the merch girl, like showcasing you. Like, hello everyone. You just gotta entice them and stuff.
I'll be the buff shirtless bunny in the background, just being like, hello.
The Gap Moe would definitely attract some people, I feel like.
Yes. I need just the head. I need like like we have right now. I need that as like a costume head, like what like Yoko Taro.
Oh yeah. I know you're talking about. Alright, I'm gonna just take a pause here, but let me welcome Poor Genius, Rez, and Ayuk. Welcome, guys.
Hello.
Ayuk says that boothing convention really boosted his confidence with his art. Do you feel that they give you that your boost, or do you still have this sort of insecurity when you're going to a new con each time?
For me, because people totally like, well, you can just have conversations about your art, and people will like. It is not uncommon for somebody who's a complete stranger to just go up and be like, make like a fangirl noise and be like, "Whoa, I love this," blah blah blah. You know, and then you just get into like a 5-minute conversation about how like. I don't know how cool Gurren Lagann is or something like that, right? Like,
okay, so I noticed a trend with Arts Alley, because back in my day, when I first joined the anime convention scene, a lot of the merch they were targeting were very diverse, but nowadays it feels like the merch are very, very linear. A lot of it is Genshin, Honkai, whatever flavor of the month anime is going on right now, maybe even like some of the more popular titles, right? Because back then it used to be you can get your niche like Do-Re-Mi merch, but nowadays you can barely find those kind of stuff. Do you feel like this pressure to like, do you feel like it became too much of a meta? Like, how do you feel about not seeing as much of the more niche stuff in the recent cons?
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. I'm not sure that it's hard for me to tell whether that's because of the cons I've been to, where I've really only gone to like the really big ones, versus it being a consequence of changing patterns. Because like, for example, right, like, I can definitely go to a con and find stuff by artists who draw like stuff that I wouldn't expect to be there, but definitely the majority is flavor of the month. But also, it might just be experience, right? Like, maybe the first couple times I went to conventions, everything was new, so everything was novel, but it was really just flavor of the month back then too, right? Like I remember there was a lot of like Love Live stuff when I was tabling. Like there was a lot of like there is always a lot of Pokemon stuff.
Yeah, that's true.
And yeah, to Poor Genius's point, right? Like it's
yeah, I can't even fault the artist either.
Yeah, when
that, yeah.
Like when you're there, like I said before, right, you're out automatically $1,000+ just to exist there for the weekend. So like putting and also when you order merch, you know, you have to put in an order for like 100 of them.
Yeah, that's true.
Right? So like it's very difficult to put in something for a character that you don't think anybody's even going to recognize anymore.
Yeah.
Just because you like them. But yeah, for what it's worth though, I personally don't have that problem because I make my own merch. So,
so wait, do you have like your own? Wait, so you talk about wooden keychain? You made that yourself too, or did you order it from a manufacturer?
Back in the day, I used to work at my college's makerspace, which gave me access to all sorts of like prototyping. Like I could like go to the 3D printers and just like make whatever I wanted, for example, or like we had a laser cutter, we had blah blah blah. These days, I'm a member of a commercial makerspace.
Okay.
Which so so for people who don't know what a makerspace is, it's like imagine like when you want to work out, you go to a gym and you use their equipment because it kind of doesn't make sense to spend $5,000 on a treadmill and $10,000 on a free weight set, etc., right? And you pay a monthly fee. That's like that with a makerspace, except it's things like prototyping equipment and things like a wood shop or like a like in my makerspace has like a wet room for paint, for like spray painting and airbrushing, and then there's like a wood shop and there's like a metal shop and laser cutters and all that kind of cool stuff. And then you pay a monthly fee to have access to the equipment. For a little bit of context, when I contacted Gabe about the podcast, he asked if I was making merch, and I said, I wasn't making merch anytime soon. And I was actually very surprised that he offered to make the merch himself. So I'm kind of curious how much this makerspace costs per month for you, and if you have to supply the raw material, or is it already there for you? Anything that's consumable, like inks or raw materials or anything like that, you supply yourself, and you pay access to the machinery, which for my makerspace is around $350 a month.
Whoa!
Yeah.
How many people are subscribed to this makerspace besides Sue? Do you know?
A lot.
There's really?
A lot. I know that it's they have something like $6 or $7 million worth of equipment.
Oh Jesus
and
Christ.
it's a lot of it's a lot of like
that's fair.
Yeah, it's a lot of like startups who are there because they use things to like 3D print their prototypes or make, and then there's a lot of like workshops about like how to make your small business grow and how to launch your first product and all things like that. So it's a lot of hardware startups. Then there's a whole section of the shop that I don't even use. It's all the electronics section. There's a circuit board assembly area. There's like soldering stations. There's like all that kind of stuff. I don't even use all that stuff.
Are you a manufacturer yourself, or do you only make it for yourself?
Right now, I only make it for myself. I'm talking with lots of people. I do eventually want to get into a spot where I'm making it for other people because one, it helps with like the upfront cost of just like existing in that space. But it's also, I find that process fun. I like making stuff for other people. So if I can turn other people's art into a marketable product, right? Like I enjoy that process.
Wait, so do you make posters, keychains, basically everything, or is there like a limit to what you can make? I gotta know for myself, future proofing myself here.
Yeah, right now I make keychains. I make anything that you can print on like not paper.
Okay. So you,
like
you don't do print, just mainly keychain and okay.
Yeah, it's not a print shop, so I don't have large format printers for posters or anything like that.
Oh yeah. Just like Porgy said, sounds like a DIYer dream over there. I myself don't consider myself like a very hands-on person, but it sounds interesting enough that I might even consider going to one of near me. But
if you're a cosplayer or anything that, it would be perfect. Like a lot. There's a couple furries there. Like I'm sure people have made fursuits there. Like right, like I totally would if I cosplay 20 Degree. So.
What did you mean by I'm a big fan of Bunny Industries? Is that what's it called? I'm not exactly sure. Oh, that you?
That's me. No, well, I mean, my company name is Studio 24 Carats.
Oh my god! Okay. I love that. I love that.
As you can see by the branding on my chest, I am a Banuri. So I.
That's why you had that on there. That's why you chose those pasties. I forgot the word completely.
It's advertising. No.
No. I'm down. I'm down if you want to sponsor the stream. I'll drop a like $2 or not $2, but you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I would love to go to one. I don't think we have that kind of industrial, kind of modern thing in my area at all.
I mean, you have to be kind of like downtown in a big city, for a large space like that to exist. But there's definitely a lot of smaller ones out there. Certainly wood shops and stuff exist for that kind of thing.
That is true.
It's the same concept, I suppose.
Oh, but 350 is a bit of steep buy-in though. I would love to have you be my manufacturer later down the line.
I'd love to, honestly.
Okay, as a pack. I actually have another friend who does printing of like just about anything. He also offered me to. But as you know too, Gabe, he's Canadian, so the cost of shipping is what's gonna eat me alive rather than the actual printing cost.
See, that's why we have to go up there to do a Canadian con, and then while we're up there,
a Canadian con sounds like it's gonna make me broke. It's gonna break the bank because.
Oh, but that's the thing, right? It's okay.
It's covered by the con. Okay, I get it.
It's covered by the con, and who said it before? It was Ayak, receiving compliments in person. It's like, so it's not just a financial gain, it's a psychic boost.
I really do love the sort of one-on-one in-person interaction regarding art, because I don't get that as much in my day-to-day life. But I don't know, I don't have a lot of experience being the seller side of things. I always thought about it and dreamed about it, but I'm kind of nervous to even like start into it.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough to do. It's tough to make that first step because it's a leap of faith that first time.
Yeah,
you gotta Miles Morales this. You gotta like you gotta maybe don't like maybe don't literally do what he did, but if you because you don't have this, you don't have Spidey stuff. But if you you do need to. I mean, the other thing you can do is you can do something low stakes, something that doesn't involve travel. Because if you can drive to a local convention and sell that way, even if you don't sell anything, all you've done is just spend a weekend talking to nerds, which is totally like geeking out with people.
I'm down. I'm down to travel. I'm down to travel. Maybe break even at a table, have it covered the cost of the hotel and everything. I'm down to do that.
Yo, I'll totally. I mean, I'll totally table with you like wherever. So it's
Okay.
It's
well,
the kind of thing. It's the kind of thing that I've been trying to get back into. Like I said, right? I'm trying to get back into it because I wanted to get back into it, and then COVID kind of punched me in the face. So I'm so down for any kind of any way that we can reduce the risk on either of our ends.
I am so down to table with you. You guys heard it here, folks.
Let's go.
If we ever do a convention, I'll let you guys know, and you guys can probably say hi to me, or I'll give you like personal JueriHaan merch. You know, I don't know. I feel guilty. I feel guilty charging you guys for my merch because back when I did a little bit of merch side of things, I gave out my keychain of my little character for free. So
that's the thing, right? You gotta be.
I know. I have to be a boss lady and not be nice and like haggle people for.
You have to girl boss. You have to girl boss, gatekeep, gaslight your
my way into the artsy. I know. I will. But yeah, I'm very happy. This is very unplanned. I would love to partner with you on a table for sure.
I'm totally down.
Maybe next year. Somewhere.
Next year, let's do it.
Next year we'll throw a dart onto the US map and figure out where from there.
you should come by for a furry convention.
Wait, speaking of which, have you been to a furry convention?
Yes.
Oh,
it's
okay.
It's exactly the same as an anime convention, except people are in fursuits instead of cosplay. Like in terms of like what people geek out about, it's like the exact same vibe.
Do people like ask for pictures of their fursuit even though it's not a character they know? Is that how?
Totally. Yeah, all the time.
Okay.
It's very.
Are you in a fursuit?
I don't.
Okay.
I think I would if it didn't cost like $10,000, but I also don't like the aesthetic of like the full ones. I only like the ones that are just like the mask and the gloves. That's it.
Wait, no, that's not even like what? They have a human body, but they have like animal head and hands.
It's I mean, yeah. Did I link you stuff when we were preparing? I forgot if I linked you something.
I don't think you did regarding this one. This is kind of new to me because it sounds like you have a human disguised as a furry among a furry convention, which is kind of
Among Us. No, there's no. I mean, there was a lot of regular cosplay there too. It's like I said, the vibe is very much like imagine it's just an anime convention, except instead of people being like characters, everybody's just an OC.
Of course.
That's the vibe. And for the most part, all you're doing is just like nerding out with people. It's a lot of fun.
Damn, a conversation with you gives me confidence to go to a convention and just be a business lady about it.
Let's go.
I think I'm sort of, I don't want to say jaded per se, but just going through the motion of a con. You know, you go to panels and Artist Alley and dealers hall and stuff. I've been through it all. I feel like once you've seen it like at least 2-3 times, you've pretty much gone through the whole routine of a con goer. But now I kind of want to experience the sort of back end stuff, working at a Artist Alley, you know. So, yeah. It's a lot of fun. Even like there's been a couple of conventions where I've only broken even, but it didn't feel bad because I had a lot of fun. So it was as if I got to attend the convention for free, even though I quote unquote didn't make money, quote unquote. Wait, should we prepare for it now? Like I don't know how sign-ups work even. I know that you like sign up within a year in advance kind of thing.
It's usually a couple months in advance. Usually the larger cons have like a raffle process where you put your name in, and then they pick they pick people because they don't want to become like dominated by only popular artists, right? They want to give the smaller artists a way to do it, but it's a lot of basically you sign up a couple months in advance to the conventions that you want to have. There's usually a process, and then you have to like you have to order your merch, you have to put together what your booth is going to look like, and then it's like you have to build like a mobile storefront. It's a lot of fun, but it is a lot of work.
That is true.
It is saying their con prep is
I've had friends that bald, but once their first con is over, the second one's a lot easier because you're doing less of the art side of thing. Is just like set up table, sell stuff, bam, you're good to go.
Yeah, 100%.
My first booth, let's go. If you are so you haven't done a con in a while, right? What's some of the like fandom or niche that you want to cater your art to? Because I'm thinking about it too, and my first instinct is like, oh, gotta make like Honkai merch because that's the game I'm playing right now that's super popular. But I also want to be careful about being only mainstream art. You know, I want to put in a little bit FGO here and there. But to be honest, you know, I talked to a friend who's in the FGO niche, and he's kind of going outside of it. He used to sell a lot of, you know, like Mash or Saber merch, but nowadays he doesn't do that as much, and he's making, you know, trying to make stuff to put food on table.
Well, FGO is actually, I mean, FGO is super popular in Asia. So basically what I'm saying is that to justify a Japan convention, if we want to sell a Comic-Con, no.
No, Comic-Con is hell.
Comic-Con, yeah, I know.
I know, it's great, but I've seen the picture. They are way more insane than anime expos, line crowds, whatever. It's
LineCon.
It spans like blocks outside of the building. You think that the one picture they do every year at Anime Expo in the hall is bad? It's like half of Japan's like population is in one spot. That's what Comic-Con is.
Oh my gosh! Wait. So speaking of LineCon, right? So at the furry convention I went to recently, which was Anthrocon.
Okay.
We went for when in the pre-reg line for when the day, like on the Thursday before the weekend, there's the, you know, you can pick up your badge if you're pre-registered. It was a really long line. It took like 40 minutes from start to finish to get through it. But during that line, there was somebody handing out those, like, you know, those little like squeakers that they put in like stuffed toys.
I guess so.
There was a guy going around the line with a bucket of them, just handing them out to people, and you could hear it spreading because people would pick one up and start like squeaking it.
Oh man.
It's like that. It's that like it's that vibe of just like, yeah, just people being silly at conventions.
Cons are crazy to me because I've been to many of them. They feel very dangerous. They don't have a very strict screening process, and it takes one crazy cycle to enter in and mess everything up, you know? So I'm very shocked I haven't really encountered that in any of the cons I've been to.
I mean, I don't know if you've seen recently, there's been reports of people like targeting artist alley booths or just in general, like people who appear to be inexperienced but are handling a bunch of money and like stealing stuff. Yeah.
Okay, I've seen some artist alley like grievances when the con was happening on my Twitter timeline, but that's as far as I was aware of that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it's just kind of one of the problems that comes with having a large group of people in one place, right? So, but if you know what you're doing, it's not a problem. Like, it's you basically just can't have a cash box. You have to have an apron, and you have to keep everything with you at all times.
Oh, yeah.
You have to like zip tie all of your samples to the to your like, you can't have loose samples out on your table because it's easy for people to just like pick it up and put it in their pocket while you're talking to someone else. So you zip tie your samples down and you put everything else in a bin behind the counter, that kind of stuff. But it's all like common sense, like security stuff. So I wouldn't be too worried about it. Just know it's a thing.
You say it's common sense, but I just have no experience in that kind of thing. I'd probably be the one with the money box or something or other.
Oh no.
Oh no. But I think having two people for sure at like your first con experience is the way to go.
Oh, yeah,
also, like, because you know, you have someone to hold the the stand for you while you go eat or something, right?
Oh, that's pretty important too. Yeah.
Wait, have you been going solo at these cons, or are you?
For the most part, I've been solo, but occasionally, for the larger cons, I'll usually ask a friend to come with me.
I see. What's the largest con you manned?
Anime Next, probably. Yeah.
Anime Next, really?
Yeah. I went to Anime Next 2 years, and I went to the first time that they were in Atlantic City. I went, and that was not good because.
Okay.
Like, no, meaning like because the con was. So it was too big for the Somerset.
I loved
venue.
it though. I loved it.
Yeah.
I was very aerated. It was I liked it a lot. So for context, there's a anime convention called Anime Next in New Jersey. It was situated in a very small New Jersey town, and it got really crowded one year. So then they got big enough where they moved the whole con to Atlantic City and basically held it there. And this is back when I used Facebook too, so back when I was on Facebook, people were talking about it on there.
Yeah, it was for me personally worse because Atlantic City is so much more of a commercial venue than the previous one. So there was a lot. It was so much bigger, and it was a lot further away than some people were used to going to Anime Next for. So the attendance went down a little bit while the venue got bigger. So it felt a lot less populated, even though it wasn't that much less.
I actually went to Anime Next when they switched over to Atlantic City the first year. I really think we crossed paths before we even knew it.
Did you go to the video game room where they had all the rhythm games and stuff?
Yeah, I was there.
I knew because I know the people who manage all that. Yeah, because it's very cool.
We were there briefly, but we had a very large group of about 5 to 8 people, so we're playing like some party game. I think it was Apple's Apple, or was it like
Bishibashi?
No, nothing cool. We went to the game board room. We didn't go to the actual arcade room. Yeah, we had too big a party for it.
The arcade room was it's because they have a lot of machines, like cabinets from Japan.
I actually loved the arcade. That was the best arcade I've ever seen in any con, and I didn't go because it didn't have anyone there, right? So that's basically why. This is back when I wasn't into arcade machines much. Now that I'm older, I love like Pump It Up. I love Dance Rush Stardom. I like Dance Evolution. I like all the dancing ones, but
so clearly this is the plan, right? So we table together at a convention, and then the artist alley usually closes at like 5 p.m. And then you spend the rest of the time. You spend a couple hours in the arcade playing DDR or the Pump It or Pump or something.
Hey, wait! What's it, Pump or something? It's Pump It Up. Get the title right.
No, it's DDR and Pump. Well,
no, it's Pump It Up.
I know it's Pump It Up.
But don't say the Pump.
People call it Pump.
No one calls it Pump. You weirdos. They're casuals call it Pump.
People probably don't call it that. Hey, I am kind of a Pump It Up casual, honestly. I've been trying to get into doubles. It's so much harder than it's so much more natural than doubles in DDR, but doubles and Pump It Up makes my brain hurt.
You're that kind of Asian, I see. The kind of Asian that plays the arcade machines with high scores.
I'm yes.
Yeah, man. I didn't think there was another one out there.
I mean, that's why I played OS back in the day, because I were like, I was just really into rhythm games. I mean, I still am now. I have a personal Sound Voltex machine. I mean,
what?
Not a real one.
Okay.
A homemade one with a homemade controller. I had a cardboard box controller for the longest time, and then I made something that's similar to a anyway, between that and like Sound Voltex, 2DX, DDR is probably the one that I'm best at. I clear 18s. I haven't cleared a 19
DDR
yet.
confuses my brain because the placement of the up down. Okay, left right arrow makes sense, but the up down kind of I don't know which foot to use. But Pump It Up is a lot more intuitive for me, at least, because they play K-pop songs. But I actually get kind of bored of rhythm games personally for me, because it's just mainly repetitive movement. But that's why I like a lot of the more freestyle dance ones, like Dance Rush and Dance Evolution.
Dance Rush is so fun. I wish there was one near me that I could play. The nearest for me, the nearest round one is like 40 minutes away.
Yeah.
And I don't have a car, so.
The nearest round one to me, actually, their machine for their Dance Rush one is broken. So when you step on it, it has like 4 foot position your foot could actually be in. It's not really sure where the tracking is supposed to be. It's honestly really sad. But if you know the city I'm in, that kind of city doesn't really have the attitude of keeping things, that you just let things break.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Unfortunately. Unfortunately, that's okay. It's all good. It's all good. I get my fix when I travel to the West Coast.
No, totally. Yeah. Oh, I like poppin', but I could never. Oh, also, what's the washing machine game?
What? Does it start with W or something, or washing?
I don't think so.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. I have it in my head. I see the vision. I see the vision.
Yes,
you put your hands.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So Sound Voltex, the washing machine game. U-Beat. I love U-Beat.
I don't know what U-Beat is.
I feel like you should play it just for branding reasons.
Sure, I maybe.
You beat is the one with the 4x4 grid.
I have to say, I know I put like Dance Rush as my favorite, but I also really like Dance Evolution, which unfortunate because they only ever appear in cons. And yeah. Oh, what's this?
That's you beat.
Oh, this is the cube thingy. So imagine like a 4x4 grid with squares, and you basically press the music. I see.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see. No, I think Ellerin actually likes that one too. That one or some other one. I remember we were in a group going to a round 1 when we were attending Anime Expo. But that aside, forget about it.
Yeah. So here's the play. This is how you fund a Japan trip. Is that you go to a convention over there and then you make the trip a convention trip. That way you can table and then sell a bunch of merch.
At Japan?
Yeah.
Do you speak JP?
I speak enough to be able to table, I think. But I mean, we started off the episode with me saying that I studied for a bit. So.
I'm really embarrassed because my knowledge of JP is roughly basic level. Because I learned Korean for a good chunk of my life, like self-study and like studying abroad and stuff like that. That the grammar and vocab is so similar sometimes it messes with my brain. So it's very difficult for me to break into JP side of things.
Here's the thing: you just table at a Korean con, or Singapore has a convention and they all speak English. So yeah, that when I was in Singapore, I didn't even know that the convention was happening. I just happened to walk by it and I was like, now hold on, that's an anime convention. So I got a ticket at the door and then just like walked around and yeah, like everybody kind of speaks English. So
now you have pretty decent grasp on Japanese, right? I'm sure that there are some viewers here who are learning Japanese or learning a language as we speak.
I know enough.
What would you like kind of rate your proficiency with Japanese?
N3.
N3.
Yeah.
How would you describe that to people who may not know what N3 is?
Like a 5-year-old.
Oh really? Okay.
No, I don't know. N3 is like functional. It's like you can exist there without help. And N3, N2, it's like you can exist in Japan without needing help to get around and stuff. Like you can order food and you can read road signs and you can ask how to get to locations. And I mean, I've been told that my accent is good, but I'm not sure how much of that is just politeness.
I understand.
I've been told that my accent is good, but it works because it works out that I like because I'm Asian, so people will assume that I speak Japanese when I go to places there, and then I have to kind of set expectations.
I see.
Yeah. Well, I have to be like, well, actually, I'm American. I only speak a little bit of Japanese, and then have the conversation because otherwise I look like I'm just like dumb. No, because like if they expect you to speak Japanese and you speak broken Japanese, you kind of just look like you're dumb. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I understand.
Like, versus if you look like a gaijin and you speak like bad Japanese, it's like, oh, okay, yeah.
Okay, just take a pause here, but I just gotta welcome Casquel. Welcome. Now, just for a little bit of context, he mentioned that he is N3, and I believe that there's a Japanese proficiency test you take where they score you from N1 to N5 or something?
Yes.
Is that correct? N1 being the best, N5 being like baby beginner?
And yeah, and N1 is like basically fluent. N5 is I'm a little baby. I'm just a little guy. Come on. So
wait. So how did you learn up to N3?
I took about 3 years of classes in college because it was my foreign language requirement. So I just needed to take a foreign language, so I took it. I took Japanese. I chose Japanese, and and I ended up taking enough classes for me to minor in it. So so I kind of just kept going. But after that, I honestly like just talking to native speakers on like the internet, and currently I work for a Japanese company, which I don't get to use my Japanese.
Oh my god, wait, really? Okay, you don't, you don't need to state the name. I'm just surprised because this is the first time I heard about it.
Yeah, no, like in America. Like the company is like owned by a Japanese company, but I work for the American branch. But I have coworkers from the Japanese branch, right, who I can practice Japanese with.
Oh,
so,
that's really nice of them.
Yeah, so it kind of helps to have that level of like availability of practice. Like I could never personally learn something like Italian without having access to people, native speakers who I could practice with, right?
I feel like for me, I kind of squandered my opportunity away. I hate to say it, but I learned Japanese back in, I think, 10th grade, 10, 11, 12, and I love the class because as the years go by, the class gets smaller and smaller, and then it's just filled with people that you know or your friends decide all to take the class together. And at some point, I got burnt out by Japanese, you know? And
it's hard. It's
yeah,
so
it
different.
is hard. And my mindset back then was like, okay, you know, I like Japanese because I'm a weeb. But now as an adult, my mindset is like, oh, you know, I want to learn Japanese more in depth. I want to know the nuance of certain things. I want to fully understand the language, you know? So my mindset now versus my mindset back then is a lot different, which is unfortunate because I don't have that sort of opportunity to speak with the Japanese teacher from back then or that sort of thing. It's a little different now, right?
Yeah. I mean, the thing is too with Japanese is that I just remember my first year taking it. Sentence structure is so different that you really have to disassemble the way that you understand language and put it back together in the way that Japanese does it, because everything is basically the reverse of what it is in English.
Yeah, that's true. At some point though, I would say for me,
subject, verb, etc.
Yeah. So in English, you know, we have the noun, the verb, and then whatever comes after it. Yeah. In Japanese, it's the noun. How do you describe it?
So yeah, subject,
noun,
object,
yeah, something like that. It's
also particles.
Let's not talk about it because even Korean has particles, and Korean particles it's crazy to me.
Particle, like they just don't exist in English. I mean, it's the same thing where like the concept of the word the
dog
exist.
Versus a dog, yeah.
Yeah, that like I just know that concept just doesn't exist in other languages, and I know that foreign speakers, like people who learn English second, have trouble with that concept. I feel like our version of that is particles. So
yeah, that's pretty much the best way to describe it. At some point for me, I was actually learning Korean on my own time while I'm taking Japanese class in high school. It's very embarrassing because of how similar they overlap, that once in a blue moon I whip out Korean and then everyone takes notice of it and they make fun of me for it. they have permission to make fun of me though. They have permission to make fun of me. I totally accept all teasing and all that jazz.
Do I have permission to make fun of you?
No, I didn't do anything worthy of that. Yeah, what the heck?
I like how you put the yet right at the end there.
I think we can make fun of you though. You're not wearing a shirt right now as we speak. You got
that's fair. It's a little hot here. I don't know.
It is hot. It is hot
in the US right now.
Did you get rain at least?
I did get rain last night.
We got massive rain like moments before the stream, and I was really worried that I might disconnect during the stream.
Oh no. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you got anything else you want to talk about? Anything? Any hobbies or?
I mean, I have too many hobbies. I have too many hobbies. Recently I've been thinking that I should cause I used to play golf in high school and college.
Okay, wait, hold on.
Yeah.
Gabe, I knew you're old, but I didn't think you're like that old now.
Well, in high school, it was just like, ooh.
I didn't.
Yeah.
In high school, they have like frisbee golf, you know, like the cool hip modern thing. I didn't think you're gonna be like the boomer golf.
Boomer. It's good for networking. No.
Oh.
But, okay. Wait.
Company dinners versus golfing. Okay.
Yeah. Right. Here's the thing, because like there's a because I rock climb, and there's a golf simulator place right by my rock climbing gym.
Okay.
And I've been like, it's kind of expensive, but I've been thinking of.
It's not the same thing though. God, I know what you're talking about.
It's
You're basically hitting golf like onto a screen, and then that screen like calculates your score. Or, hey, you made it in, or you didn't make it in. No.
It's
Mario
like,
Golf.
Mario Golf. Yes.
Yeah. No.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, you want to explain that a little bit?
It is. I mean, yeah. It's you hit the ball onto a screen and it tracks your club speed and the spin of the ball and calculates. But you can play on like real courses and simulate it, and then it gives
real
you
courses. Okay.
and it gives you like real-time feedback about like exactly what you did, like how fast your club was moving and like the direction your ball went and all that kind of stuff. You don't have to walk, you don't have to be outside, you can go, there's a bar, like you can just get a beer. It's great.
Okay, that does sound pretty good. Now
yeah, it's like a video game except like it's a sport basically. Yeah.
People might be skeptical about your appearance on stream today, I have to say. Yes. Right? Can you confirm that you are buff? Like, can you give like a sort of context?
Can I confirm that I'm buff? I rock climb, I guess. I don't know. I can.
Do you bench or do you deadlift or anything?
My bench is not good.
Okay, you know what? I am painting not so good picture. Okay, I take it back. Just take my word for it. I've seen him before. He's decently fit.
No, I'm normal. I'm average. I have not a home gym, but like I have the free weights that I can fit into my like 1-bedroom apartment, which means that all of my exercises use dumbbells. And my bench press is a dumbbell press, and it's like my 5x5 is 65 pounds. Like, there you go. So
fair enough. Let's see, we're actually pretty good on time. I'm just gonna, just end it with one last question, and then we'll probably just wrap it up for the rest of the podcast.
Sounds good. Okay,
so with so many hobbies going on, right? How do you manage adulting?
I don't.
You don't? I'm just asking, like, if you could tell you something to your younger self in their 20s, what's something you want to mention?
If I could tell myself something.
Are we allowed to mention how old you are on stream at all?
Yeah, I'm 29.
Oh, yeah. Are you approaching 30 this year or next year?
I'm 30 tomorrow.
Oh, I forgot. Wait, guys. He told me that when we were doing scheduling work, right? He told me, oh, yes, my birthday this day, the day after your podcast. Like, yeah. So much has happened since then that I completely forgot. Happy. Everyone wish him happy early birthday, please. Happy early birthday. Woo.
Thank you.
誕生日おめでとう. Okay. So, you're approaching 30s. If you could give advice to your younger self in your early 20s, what would it be? Because a lot of my viewers are roughly around the age of college years or getting their first job, basically around there.
So for me personally, there was a couple of things that got in the way of me doing all the things that I wanted to do early on, or like in college and stuff, and a lot of it is related to like time management and things like that. I think the first thing that I would say to myself going to college is like, take college seriously, because you paid a lot of money for that.
I mean you graduated with a degree, right? So
yeah, but I could have graduated with more. There's things that I could have taken advantage of when I had the opportunity to in college that I didn't, and I think I would be better off if I did.
What examples could you list or name?
I think if I leaned more into the entrepreneurial stuff, like tabling and stuff like that, and also it's okay. Not that it's okay. It is remarkably easy to just do something on a whim and fail. Yes. Versus in college, I would always try to plan ahead way too much, to the extent that I would never do anything, because I would never do something that I thought was like out of that I thought didn't have a good chance of success, because it was like, well, what if I just did this other thing that was safer and it's more chance? But like, no, like learning from like just doing whatever and like failing at it is like a lot of fun, and like totally like nobody like it is beneficial, right? So
I see.
Yeah.
Do you have any regrets in general? Yeah.
I mean,
or do you feel like,
the same stuff that everybody has. I feel like the kind of thing
I actually don't have any regrets though. As a person that I am today, I don't have any regrets. I made mistakes for sure.
Well, it's the kind of thing that like, right, so I guess, okay, so it's related to that question of like, if you could go back in time your to your high school years with all of the knowledge that you have today, would you or would you not?
I probably... Oh, I don't think I could, because I like every experience that I've accumulated at the age I am right now.
So that's the thing. I think I would, because it would be like a game, right? And if you have the advantage in a game, it becomes more like I would buy Bitcoin, like that kind of stuff.
Okay, come on.
That's kind of a cop out, I know. But I would also do a lot of things differently to set myself up for the ways that I now know that my brain works.
True.
Because in college I was very, very scatterbrained and unable to focus on a lot of stuff, and I've since found ways to deal with that. Like, it was very much the like undiagnosed ADHD kind of brain, right? That a lot of people like will talk about nowadays. It was very much that kind of thing, that if I knew how to manage that in college and I applied that towards the things that I really wanted to do that are now much more difficult to do, I think I would want to do that. And not necessarily that I would do something different in a way that would kind of quote unquote deprive me of the fun experiences that I had, that I did actually have. But I would want to go back and relive those experiences in a way that I think would make them better. And I'm not afraid about failing at that endeavor. Yeah.
I think personally for me, so I'm going through my 24th year here on Earth, right? I was thinking about this recently. I was thinking, dang, I'm spending so much time on the computer doing content related things, which I enjoy for sure. But I thought about how like if I'm like in my 50s, I think back to my 20s. I don't want to think about like myself on the computer all the time.
Yeah, I'd probably play less RuneScape.
Fair enough.
Less Call of Duty. That kind of thing. I probably play the same amount of Guitar Hero, but yeah.
Okay, actually no, I guess I do take it back. I do have one regret, and that was not trying a lot more hobbies when I was going to school. Because like from K to even college, it was mostly just study, because that's all my parents ever wanted. But now as I got older, I'm starting to explore more of the hobbies that I couldn't as a kid. So during the pandemic, for example, I picked up the guitar for like 2 weeks, maybe 3, just to see if I like it. Every now and then I just dabble into it because of maybe I get inspired randomly. But those are like one of the things that I would do. So I guess if I were to travel back, not that I would right now, but theoretically if I were to travel back to the things I know now, I'd be doing more things as well.
Yeah, and okay, the way that you said that actually made me think of another thing that I think is really important, is that I would notice that I in college and high school, etc., I was kind of living on autopilot in terms of I was doing things because people told me to do them.
I worry about that too.
Yeah, I would study because my parents told me to study, and because my teachers told me to study, and because it was important, quote unquote, to do XYZ, right? In college, I skipped classes because I was there. I know, right? I would skip out on lectures because like I was there for I was there because I was quote unquote supposed to be there. So there was a certain thrill in doing stuff that I wanted to do instead of the stuff that I was quote unquote supposed to do. But if I were to go back to college again, I know that those classes were like super expensive, and like I needed to like like having the ability to like learn from them and stuff would have been really good. But anyway, I think summarizing it is like not living on autopilot and realizing what motivates you and finding the ways to do the things that you want to do for yourself, rather than like dissecting what you do because you're quote unquote supposed to do versus what you do because you quote unquote internally want to do them, and finding ways to do more of the internally motivated stuff.
I see. I guess for anyone who is listening in on this podcast or watching it, think about whether you're on autopilot right now. I like to think that I'm not on autopilot, but lately I noticed myself falling into a routine because I debuted as a VTuber 1 month ago, and so there's a lot of learning process, but I'm at a point where I'm starting to automate a lot of things, like, you know, making thumbnails, making sure the description box is perfectly good, has all the SEO search terms, stuff like that. So I feel like hearing you talk about this autopiloting in life, I need to sort of reevaluate if I'm doing that right now for myself. Do you feel like you're autopiloting, or do you feel like you're now like aware of where you are in life right now?
I feel like I'm autopiloting, but I'm aware of when I am doing it.
Oh, okay.
Versus before, I was doing it because I was quote unquote supposed to, right?
Yeah, that's true. All right.
But now it's like, oh yeah, I go to work because if I don't, I can't pay for my house. You know, that kind of stuff. So yeah.
We have Fortunius here who says that I remember walking across the video editing booth on campus, felt a bit of regret the major I chose. Don't feel regrets. I feel like college is good if you know what you want to do and you can just pursue it. If you go into college unsure of your major, I don't recommend it because I was there once. I don't recommend it at all.
I don't say. I would phrase it a little bit different. I wouldn't say don't feel regrets. I would say do something about it once you recognize that you have regrets.
Oh yeah, that's a better way of saying it. I don't mean like that.
Yeah. No, I know what you're saying. It's more like like phrasing it as like, I think once you realize that you regretted never stepping into the video editing booth, you now have the ability to change what you're currently doing. Right. So yeah, so I don't know. Not that this is a particularly philosophical podcast, but you know.
Well, all right. Any last words, Gabe?
Yeah, no, thank you for having me. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see you at an Artist Alley booth soon.
Oh yeah.
Let's go.
Well, guys, there you have it. That is Daru, aka Gabe. If you like to see more of their arts, they have their art here, seen on screen. You can follow them on Twitter. It's linked in the description box below. Other than that, this is
yeah. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, you wanna add in something?
Yeah. Jerry's great. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell icon.
Okay, wait, slow down. Don't feel forced to do any of that, guys. Come booths to some Philippine convention. I'm down to visit the Philippines. Philippines sounds really fun. Aren't you Philippine yourself? All right.
Yeah.
Do you speak the?
I do not speak Tagalog. I speak a little bit of Tagalog.
I just know Goya.
Pinoy ako. Yeah, but you know, my parents came from the Philippines. I grew up here, and it is one of the things that is on my list of things that I want to do.
I'm down.
Let's go.
I only know the word Goya though. Is that
enough?
Is that really enough?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's fine. That's all you need to know. Just be like, Kuya.
All right, there you have it, everyone. Hope you guys have a good one. Next month, we're gonna host the Haani Moon Podcast Part 2 with a different guest. I want to explore collabing and kind of just chatting with people on stream. So this is a very good first experience, I would say. Thank you so much, Gabe. You make it so much easier.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
Hope you have fun with that too.
Awesome.
Okay,
anyway,
bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye, everybody. Bye.
Bye. Bye.